Hello, welcome back to a chapter a day. Happy Thursday. Oh my gosh, yesterday my phone fell off the stand while I was recording close to the end. And me not knowing how to do a video and all the editing stuff, I just went ahead and picked up from where I left or thought I left off and ended up with a short, which I really didn't plan to do. But anyway, like I said, whatever you miss, get your Bibles, fill yourselves in, and we're continuing with Job today, chapter 16. So yesterday, Eliphaz the Temanite, which was one of his three friends who came to visit him, was talking to Job again about, just he should not be talking things that, aren't true, that he's really being condemned by his own words, because what he's saying is not actually true, because God doesn't make mistakes. If God is punishing us, there must be a good reason, and in Job's case, Job must have done something really bad. So as he went on and on in chapter 15 about Job's travail and about the wicked man who travails with pain all his days. And well, like I said, if you want to get the whole all of the verses, because to me he was just going on and on. Have you ever heard people talk and really they're either being redundant or you can't even figure out what it is they're talking about? Well, this was Eliphaz's speech in chapter 15. So let's go on. Here we have Job speaking. Then Job answered and said, I have heard many such things. Miserable comforters are you all. Tell me about it. Shall vain words have an end? Or what emboldeneth thee that thou answerest? I also could speak as you do, if your soul were in my soul's stead. I could heap up words against you, and shake mine head at you. But I would strengthen you with my mouth, and the moving of my lips would assuage your griefs. In other words, Job is telling him, you know what? If roles were reversed and y'all were in my position and I were in yours, I could talk all this stuff. I could tell you all kinds of stuff about yourselves, what you might have done, how terrible a person you might be. But that's not going to comfort you. What am I here to do? Not comfort you, or to just bring you further down? We must be careful with our words, what we say, because you know what? If we don't enlighten people, all we're doing is bringing them down. We might as well be quiet. All right, continuing, verse 6. Though I speak, my grief is not assuaged, and though I forbear, what am I eased? But by now he hath made me weary. Thou hast made desolate all my company. And thou hast filled me with wrinkles, which is a witness against me. And my leanness rising up in me beareth witness to my face. He teareth me in his wrath, who hateth me. He gnasheth upon me with his teeth. Mine enemy sharpeneth his eyes upon me. So he's considering his friends and them now enemies, because after all the things they've said about him, how could they be friends? How could your friends come along and accuse you of being such an awful person after they hung out with you all these years, sought your advice, sought your assistance, came to your home, spent time, ate your food, mingled with your family members, and here they are gnashing upon him with their teeth, as he says. Mercy. Verse 11. God hath delivered me to the ungodly and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, but he has broken me asunder. He has also taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces, and set me up for his mark. His archers compass me round about. He cleaveth my reins asunder, and doth not spare. He poureth out my gall upon the ground. He breaketh me with breach upon breach. He runneth upon me like a giant. I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin, and defiled my horn in the dust. My face is foul with weeping, and on my eyelids is the shadow of death. not for any injustice in mine hands. Also my prayer is pure. O earth, cover not thou my blood, and let my cry have no place. Also now behold, my witness is in heaven, and my record is on high. My friends scorn me, but mine eye poureth out tears unto God. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God, as a man pleadeth for his neighbor. When a few years are come, then I shall go the way whence I shall not return. That's Job in his predicament, in his plight, in his sorrow, in his chastisement. And he is just, his friends are not any help. His friends are more like enemies, saying all these terrible things about him and to him. And Job is saying, you know what? You teareth me in your wrath. If I were in your place, I would be able to say the same thing. But what good would it do you? What good is it when someone is in a dire situation and we go out there and we just chastise them with even more accusations as to why they're in such a territory? They don't need that. Maybe they know why, maybe they don't know why. Either you comfort them in quietness, or you be quiet and or you stay away. That's the best thing. So we can just feel so terrible for Job because we know what is happening with him and he has no clue. But this is way past. We knew after the fact what has happened to Job. But anyway, again, lesson for us to learn. We might be in a terrible situation and have no reason, no knowledge of why, because we are sincere with God. And why did God allow that? Sometimes we ask ourselves, why, Lord? Why? You know, we sometimes feel disappointed with God because we feel God should be our protector, our very present help in time of trouble, always your hand of protection. God is our refuge and strength. Where does all of that go? You know, when God allows terrible things to fall upon us, it just feels like God has let you down. Yeah, I'm sure that's what Job is feeling there right now. He's just thrown him to the wolves, let his enemies have triumph over him. That's how it seems. But in everything, despite all of that, he's holding fast to God, because even though he's blaming God for what he's going through, which in a way he's right, okay, not directly but indirectly, God has allowed it, has allowed Satan. He doesn't even know it's Satan. God told Satan, you can't touch his life. So even though Satan is taking him through that rough time, God is still in control of it. And that's a lesson for us today. No matter how bad it gets, God is still in control. But all we know is that we want out of the bad time. Yeah, we want it to be ended. All right, that's it. Lessons for us, people. These are lessons for us and examples for us to learn and apply to our own lives. So until our next reading, keep on listening. Thank you all for listening and for, I hope it helps you to learn something or understand something or appreciate something or be inspired somehow. Until our next reading, keep listening. That's how our faith grows. So take care. Bye.